Hi, I'm Brandon Grant, Marketing Director here at QuoteWerks. In this video, we're going to demonstrate the complete workflow between QuoteWerks and ConnectWise Manage. This will include selecting contact, sourcing items from ConnectWise, creating and updating opportunities, creating tickets, agreements, and much more. We'll also demonstrate the IT distributor integrations and how easy it is to pull items from these vendors with up-to-the-minute pricing and availability, and even place orders directly with them. And finally, we'll show you how to deliver your quote or proposal through a dynamic and interactive web page, Quote Valley. So let's get started. For our example, I'm going to start with a basic quote, but these concepts could easily be applied to complex proposals and estimates, as the workflow will be similar. First, let's search for a contact to pull into QuoteWerks. This is who we want to create the opportunity for in ConnectWise. In this example, I'll search for our company, Aspire Technologies. To begin, click on the Sold To, Shipped To tab in QuoteWerks, and then click on the magnifying glass. This will open up the Lookup ConnectWise contact window, and you'll be able to search by company name, first name, last name, or phone. In our example, like I said, I'll search for Aspire, which is our company. Once you've located your contact, simply highlight them, and you can double-click to pull them into the Sold To contact fields, or you can pull them into the Sold To, Shipped To, and Bill To fields using the buttons at the bottom of the window. You can also use the All button to pull the same contact's contact information into all three fields here, as this will populate the contact information automatically for you. When you select a contact, if they have multiple sites or addresses on file, you'll be prompted to select the correct address and then simply choose the Use Address button. This will then load that contact information into the document. Now that we have our contact, we can start building our document. QuoteWerks will allow you to start with a blank document like I have. So if we click on our Document Items tab, this will bring us back to our blank document that we started with. Next, I'm going to add what we call section headers. Section headers allow me to segment and organize my document visually as a sales rep to make it easier to build my document. Additionally, this will make it easier on the customer to understand what is being quoted to them. To add a section header, simply right-click in your Document Items tab and select the Insert Section Header option. This will prompt you to give the section header a description or a name. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use just some generic terms. So we'll call this one Hardware, then click OK, and you'll see it's been added to my document. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add two more. So again, I'll right click, select Insert Section Header, add one for my services or my managed services, click OK, and then we'll add one more. So right click one last time, Insert Section Header, and add one for optional items. If section headers are something you're going to use in your document on a regular basis, you do have the ability to save these section headers as a template so that you're not having to start from scratch each time. For our example, we're just going to continue building a non-templated document in QuoteWerks. Now that we have this set up, let's go ahead and click on our products icon here so we can select items to add to our document. When you click on the products icon, this will open up the product lookup window. On the left-hand side, you'll see a list of the vendors or databases that you've set up to pull or source items into QuoteWerks. So out of my product databases I currently have set up in QuoteWerks, I've connected with ConnectWise so I can search my ConnectWise item list for any of my products or services that I have stored in ConnectWise. I can search by the description, so if I type in something like Cisco and then either click Enter on my keyboard or Find, this will return back all the results that match that specific criteria. You can also search by part number or put in more specific keywords to locate and narrow down your search results. For our example, if I select these top two items here and I want to add these to my document, if I hold Control, I can select multiple items and then simply click Select Add to add these to my document. When you add an item to your document, it's going to prompt you to utilize the Add Item Assistant. The Add Item Assistant allows you to make some adjustments to this particular item before we add it to the document. For example, if I want to adjust the quantity, I can use the up and down arrows, or I could just type it in. I can adjust my pricing. If I wanted to just sell this item for $1,900, I could type that in. We can also click on the ellipsis button to mark up the item by a certain percentage amount, certain margin amount, or discount it from the list price if one's available. From here, I can also check price history for this specific customer. So if I've sold this part number to this customer previously, I can actually see what I sold it to them for, the date, the cost, the price I sold to them, and the vendor I sourced it from. All important information so you can stay consistent with your pricing. And then once you're ready to add it to the document, we can select our heading. So in this case, this is a hardware item. I'll select hardware, click add, and you'll see it's added to the document in the background. Can follow the same steps for item number 2, change my quantity, look at my price history if I wanted to, and then add it to my document. In addition to pulling items from the ConnectWise product list, we can also search in Eatalize for items from Tech Data, Ingram Micro, Cinex, D&H, Amazon, and more. To search for an item, simply type in your search criteria. Sort of like a Google search, the more information you put in, the better your results will be. If you put in a generic search such as trip light switch and click enter on your keyboard or find, you'll see a list, in this case 609 items. That being said, Eatalize will provide you with a list of categories, manufacturers, and features and attributes you can utilize to kind of narrow down your results. So if I wanted to narrow down to just switch boxes, selecting that category in my filter list will narrow my results down to 114 items. I can then use features and attributes to drill down even further. So for example, if we click on product family and we drill down to Net Commander, that'll drop it down to 10 results. And then from here, I simply need to select my item, click on my real-time pricing availability, and this will load my pricing and availability from each of the vendors that I've set up in QuoteWerks. QuoteWerks will also specify in green your best cost, and when you highlight it, it will show you the availability on the right-hand side. And in this case, Tech Data has the best cost, and they also have it available to ship directly from the vendor. The Eatalize integration also includes the ability to check pricing from CDW, Amazon, Dell, and Staples. So if I click on this globe icon here, this will actually load the pricing from those various websites, let you know kind of what the consumer pricing would be. So if your customer was to go to Amazon and search for it, this is the price that they would see. And you can even click on the website link here, and that'll take you to Amazon so you can view that particular item. To add the item from Eatalize to your document, simply double click on the vendor you want to source it from, or select the vendor and then just choose select add. That will again bring up the add item assistant, but it'll also include the product picture if one's been associated or assigned to this particular item. We can set our quantity, add it to our document, and it'll appear in our document moving forward. Eatalize also includes some additional functionality, including the ability to add accessories or optional items. These are typically organized into various categories. So if you wanted to add maybe a connector cable, get your pricing and availability, and then you can choose which vendor you want to source it from. So again, Tech Data has the best cost and they have it in stock. So we'll source it from Tech Data, and maybe we'll make this an optional item. Similar items and upsell items tabs are available as well, so you can offer good, better, best options in your document. And then finally, there is a spec sheet option available where if you want to include the technical information about this particular item, we can add this as a PDF to the links tab in QuoteWerks. In addition to pulling items from your ConnectWise product list and Eatalize, you also have the ability to pull items or store them in your own product list. So for example, if I click on my demo items list here, this will show me a list of items that I've set up in QuoteWerks. This is very useful if you want to set up product pictures or include more marketing summary information for your particular items, especially if you're adding items that are services such as like a monthly monitoring or like a quarterly check-in. So I'll select these two items and we'll go ahead and we'll add these to our document as well. And we'll add them both under our services section of our document. After you've added all items to your document, you can close out of the product lookup window by clicking close or the X button at the top of this particular window. After we've added our items to the document, we're free to make any adjustments to them, such as editing the description, your costs, pricing, even moving items around in the document. For example, if I wanted to drag and drop this item into my optional section, I can do that. If I want to delete any extra line items that I don't need, I can do that as well. So you'll have quite a bit of options for removing and editing and making any adjustments to the items as needed. We even have the ability to access the Utilize panel information from the Document Items tab. So if you need to refresh an item's pricing or availability, you can do so by highlighting the item and then clicking on the Utilize panel button here, which will load the pricing and availability of this particular item from the distributors that you've set up in QuoteWerks. And just like if you had searched for the item in Utilize, you can click on the real-time button here, and this will get your pricing and availability. So if you want to select it or source it from a different vendor, we can do that. If you forgot to add in items accessories or wanted to view the similar upsell items for that item, add the spec sheet, or even update the item's marketing summary information, you have access to all of that data from the Document Items window here in QuoteWerks. And to toggle this panel on and off, simply click on it again, and that will deselect it from the Document Items window here. Document Items window also is where you can set various line attributes. So if you highlight an item or two and you right click, you'll see you can also assign items attributes. This is extremely useful. So for example, if you wanted to actually set your items as optional, we can set those, choose if they're selected. You also have the ability to hide prices, quantities, choose if you don't want the lines to print. So if you're selling items in a group or bundle or kit, you can do that. If you don't want the items picture to print, you can choose to select that or change that as well. And then if you have any recurring charges on your document like we do, we can actually set that up if they're recurring and set the recurring cycle, such as if it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual. On my particular document, I do have two recurring items. I have a monthly item and a quarterly item that appear here. And so QuoteWerks will keep track of that information, and this information can also flow into ConnectWise. Once you've made your changes to your document, we can now save our work. This is going to be an important step in the workflow because this is going to ensure that your sales reps will not forget to create the opportunity, create the ticket, schedule a follow-up call. All of this is done from QuoteWerks to ConnectWise. So when we click on our save icon here, this will bring up the Save Quote As window. We'll be prompted to give our document a name. Document number will be set automatically for us, so you don't have to keep track of confusing document numbers. We'll set the status as open, so just like your opportunities in ConnectWise have statuses, so do the quotes in QuoteWerks. A project number field is also available, so if you need to include an additional document number, you'll have access to that. And then below the QuoteWerks field information are the ConnectWise integration points. So as of right now, we've selected contacts from ConnectWise, and we've also been able to pull items. This is where we'll actually start pushing some data and information into ConnectWise. So we'll check our checkbox for creating the sales opportunity, create the linked document. We can also create a follow-up call, a one-off activity, and as well as a service ticket at this point. And we'll go ahead and click OK. This will open up our opportunity window. On the opportunity window, you'll have two options. You can create a brand new opportunity, or if you click on the drop down, you'll see a list of opportunities that are available, and you can choose to essentially overwrite and begin with that opportunity. For our example, I'm going to go ahead and just start with a fresh opportunity. This will be the opportunity name, so it's the document name plus the document number. If you'd like to change this or edit this default, you can do that. And then from the type field down, these are all ConnectWise fields. So these are information we're pulling from ConnectWise, so we can set the type, status, add a description if you'd like, set the sales stage, source, campaign, location, business unit, the sales rep, internal sales rep if one is needed, and then you have the option to set the forecast prefix for your forecasts, and then also if you want QuoteWerks to include the revenue in the total forecast, and if you want us to create the individual product items. If you just want QuoteWerks to create the opportunity and the forecast so that your pipelines reports are up to date, you can actually leave this unchecked, and we won't write the line items into the opportunity until the customer has actually signed off on the document. That way you only have line item information in your documents that are actually being quoted and purchased and sold. For our example, though, I'm going to go ahead and choose to include those in our document. In addition to this tab, we also have access to the Attachments tab. The Attachments tab will allow you to attach additional documentation to your opportunity. So if you wanted to include like the RFP or the RFQ that the customer sent over, we can easily attach that. Go ahead and hit save to save this opportunity and have QuoteWerks go through the creation process. Once that completes, QuoteWerks will then prompt you to create your new activity in ConnectWise. So in this example, we can set up, maybe we want to set a follow-up call, select the date, and we can enter any notes if we need to about this particular call. You can even specify a time, so if you want to set a reminder, and then simply hit save, and that will create it. You also have the option to create what's called a one-off activity. One-off activity is the same thing as a follow-up. It just allows you to do more than one. So if you want to set a follow-up for someone else on your team, maybe if you're going to be out of the office, you can do that as well. And then the last option will be to create a new ticket inside of ConnectWise. So at this point, we have the option to select our service board, status, specify our service type, subtype if one exists, and then give our ticket a name. And then if you need to create more than one ticket, simply choose Save and New. If you need to create just the one, click Save. In addition to creating the opportunity in ConnectWise off the Save icon, if you click on the dashboard icon in QuoteWerks, this will also show you a list of opportunities that have a specific status set in ConnectWise that need a quote created for them or a new proposal. If you click on that link, that will let you create a quote for that specific opportunity. If someone has already started that opportunity and set up line item information in that opportunity, that will flow into QuoteWerks as well, so that you're not having to start from scratch. Really great feature to use if you have another system that might be automating the creation of opportunities in ConnectWise for you. You can then use it to automate the process of getting your quotes started in QuoteWerks as well. So now that our opportunity has been created in ConnectWise and our follow-ups have been scheduled, we have a great shortcut in QuoteWerks to navigate directly to that opportunity in ConnectWise. So if you want to review the opportunity, simply click on the Links tab in QuoteWerks and then click on the View Opportunity in ConnectWise, and this will open up that specific opportunity to that document directly in ConnectWise for you. So instead of having to go into ConnectWise and do a search for that particular opportunity, you can open up the document in QuoteWerks and go right to the opportunity by clicking on the link. When you get to the opportunity, you can see that our line item information is available under our forecast as well as our services that were written over. You can also utilize the quote link button in ConnectWise to start a new quote in QuoteWerks for you. We also have, if we click on the products tab, you can see a list of the items themselves that were sent over to the opportunity. If you had attached any documents, those would be available under the attachments tab as well. So if we go back into QuoteWerks, we're now ready to deliver this document to the customer. So we'll click on our deliver icon here, and this will open up the deliver window in QuoteWerks. And this is where we're going to choose the output that the customer is going to receive from us. So if we want to include a cover page, we can attach one. If we want to select our layout, and then maybe we want to include like a solution summary. And then if you have any literature files, that would be information that doesn't change on a regular basis, such as your support agreements, warranty information, terms and conditions, any type of files that you want to include with this quote or proposal. You can save those as literature documents in QuoteWerks and then simply choose to include them in the quote or proposal as an attachment. If you have any spec sheets about any of your line items or anything that's been included in the Links tab, so if you had added that spec sheet from Eatalize and we want to include that in the quote or proposal, we can do that. After you've made your selections, you'll see the selections will appear in the selections panel on the right hand side, and you'll be able to reorder these. So if we wanted to put our cover page first, maybe we decide we don't want to include this spec sheet to the customer, we don't want to overwhelm them with too much information, we can do that, and then we can get ready to deliver this document to the customer. So let's go ahead and preview this before we send it to our customer via Quote Valet. So we're going to click on our preview icon here, and this will show us exactly what the PDF version of the document is going to look like before we deliver it to the customer. These are fully customizable, so you can add your own logo, change company colors, fonts, and include any information that's important for you. So we have our cover page here. On the next page, we have just a short introduction about the document and our company. And then we'll get into the line item information. If any of your items have pictures associated with them, those will appear on the document as well. And then we'll have our summary here and the payment methods that are available, as well as a solution page here where we include what's going to be the initial investment, any services and labor, and then anything that might be billed monthly, quarterly, or annually in this case will be available. And then here's the start of our support agreement that we had attached so the customer can sign off on it. Everything looks good, so let's go ahead and send this to the customer. Close out of here, choose to upload this document to Quote Valet. And this will open up the Upload to Quote Valet window. You can still view the PDF file from here, but it's a little easier to go through the preview process. And then we can upload this document to Quote Valet. And then we want to preview it before we send it to the customer. You can simply click on the preview web page, and that'll let you see an internal view of the document. And then when you're ready to send it to the customer, click on the Send Email window. Send Email window will open up this email window here where you can type your information or message to your customer. You'll see there's no attachment. We're just sending the customer a link directly to the quote. So if we click on this link, we can actually view what this document would look like from the customer side of things. And you'll see here, this is exactly what the customer would see when they click on that link. This would also send you an email notifying you that the customer viewed the document for the first time. We do include a PDF version of the document, so that's available. So if they need to download this, so they have a copy of, in this case, a support agreement, or just want a copy for the records, they have that. And scroll down, we'll see our line item information and how those section headers have really broken that document out for our customer. And then one of the really great features about Quote Valet is the customer can deselect an option, choose update, and it'll actually deduct it from the document total. Customer can make their selection on how they'd like to pay, and then they can even come down here and actually sign off on the document. And we'll just sign off here. Click to accept. And this will bring us to the acceptance screen where if the customer is ready to make payment, they can make payment. If you are offering your customer terms and there's not going to be a payment readily available, this Pay Now button just won't display when the customer accepts the document. Back into QuoteWerks, if the customer has made any changes or once they've accepted the quote, if they deselected any options from Quote Valet will actually prompt you with those adjustments, let you know that the payment option was changed and the customer deselected a specific option. QuoteWerks will want to convert this quote to an order. When we convert this quote to an order, very important, it's actually going to update the opportunity in ConnectWise as 1. You'll see we've set the status as 1, and then if you want to make any other adjustments on the opportunity, you can do that. Down at the bottom, you'll see there's also a few new options as well. We have the option to create tickets at this point for products and services, or each service, or services only, or products only, and you can do a combination for maybe services only and products only, so you have tickets for those. We also have the option to create an agreement if you had one set up in your opportunity or in the document, and also if you want QuoteWerks to create the sales order from the opportunity at this point, we'll have that option available, and simply click save, and that will update the opportunity including any of those items that had been deselected so that your pipeline report stays completely accurate with what was quoted through QuoteWerks. And then here it'll prompt us if we want to create a ticket for our products. We can set that up, call this our products ticket, and click save, and then that'll create that new ticket in ConnectWise for us. So now that our document has been accepted by the customer and we've converted the quote to an order, we can actually place the order from QuoteWerks directly with our IT distributors by clicking on the purchasing icon here. So this will open up the purchasing window. We'll then be able to filter by our items for the currently open order, or if you want to batch multiple orders, you simply click on the multiple orders option, and then we can sort by vendor. So in this case, if we select, we'll do Ingram Micro, select a couple of our items here, then you'll have the option to place the online order and then create the PO, or you can choose create PO, and that'll just let you create the purchase order in QuoteWerks. The online ordering form is going to be very straightforward. It'll allow you to put your purchase order information in, such as the PO number, the description, the reference ID, pricing type, special instructions, and if you want to place the order on hold so someone reviews it. You can also fill in the shipping information, the end user information, specifically if this is needed for some of the licensee or warranty orders, and any reseller details that you'd like to include. And then when you're ready to process the order, simply verify the pricing availability, validate the order, and then submit the order. Since this ordering is live, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of here, and we'll just create the PO manually instead. So we'll click Create PO. We'll enter in a PO number, and then you'll see you have the option to export to ConnectWise. So if you want QuoteWerks to create the PO in ConnectWise, we can do that. If you're using QuickBooks or Sage 50, the US edition, instead for purchase orders, we can export to those systems as well. Simply click OK. For this example, it's going to prompt us to select our vendor in ConnectWise. So we found our vendor. We can choose Select, the warehouse, and then that'll finish creating the purchase order in ConnectWise. If we go to our purchase orders tab and we click today, we'll actually see the PO is set here. If you place the order directly with your distributors, you'd actually be able to get the information about the shipping, if it's been back ordered, which warehouse it's shipped from, the estimated shipping date, tracking number, and serial numbers. You can also mark the items as received when they come in. When this happens, this will actually update the ConnectWise purchase order with this information, including the serial number and the received information. So in summary, the QuoteWerks integration with ConnectWise will let you streamline your quoting and proposal generation process by automating the flow of information from QuoteWerks to ConnectWise to ensure your pipeline is always current and accurate and will allow for easy order fulfillment. Thanks for watching.